Part 1. First Contact Fallout. The bridge of the UES Defiance hummed with quiet efficiency. Captain Maya Chen stood with her hands clasped behind her back, dark eyes fixed on the endless void displayed on the main view screen. At 42, she had the bearing of someone who had seen enough conflict to respect peace, but enough peace to prepare for war. Her weathered face, marked with a thin scar across her right cheek, remained impassive as she monitored the routine patrol along the outer reaches of human space. "Status report, Lieutenant Okafor," she said, her voice cutting through the ambient noise of the bridge. Lieutenant Nandi Okafor looked up from his console, his fingers still dancing across holographic displays. "All systems nominal, Captain. We've completed our sweep of the Arcturus sector. Nothing unusual to report." He paused, squinting at a new data stream. "Wait, I'm picking up some unusual energy signatures at coordinates 227 Mark 43. Maya moved to his station, leaning over his shoulder to examine the readings. Definitely not natural. Too regular, too precise. She straightened, addressing her science officer. "Dr. Takahashi, analysis." Dr. Miyaru Takahashi, a thin woman with silver-streaked hair pulled back in a severe bun, manipulated her own controls. "It appears to be some form of monitoring network, Captain. Advanced technology, not ours. The energy pattern suggests quantum-based sensors, far more sophisticated than anything in our arsenal." Maya's expression hardened. Humanity had expanded rapidly into the stars over the past century, establishing colonies on dozens of worlds. But despite all their explorations, they had yet to encounter another intelligent species. Until now, perhaps. How long has it been there? "Impossible to say without further analysis," Dr. Takahashi replied. "But based on the dust accumulation patterns, I'd estimate at least 18 months. Maya's jaw tightened. 18 months. Someone, something, had been watching them, studying them, for over a year. And they hadn't noticed until now. "Tactical alert," she ordered. "Shields up, weapons on standby." Commander Alexander Volkov, her XO and tactical officer, complied immediately. The bridge lighting shifted to a subtle red, and Maya felt the almost imperceptible hum as the Defiance's shield generators came online. "Should we destroy it?" Volkov asked, his Russian accent more pronounced under stress. Maya considered. "No, not yet. If someone's been watching us, I want to know who and why before we give away that we've discovered their surveillance." "Captain," Okafor called out, his voice tight, "I'm detecting a massive energy surge from the array." Before Maya could respond, the view screen flickered, and an image materialized. The bridge crew fell silent, staring at the alien figure that now dominated their view. They were vaguely humanoid, but with iridescent skin that seemed to shift colors with each movement. Multiple pairs of eyes arranged in vertical columns gazed out from a face that seemed composed more of angles than curves. When it spoke, its mouth didn't move. Instead, patterns of light rippled across its skin. "Humans of Earth vessel," the alien said, its voice surprisingly melodic despite the metallic undertones of translation. "I am Supreme Commander Zulvax of the Vorax Dominion. Your primitive craft has trespassed into space claimed by the Dominion." Maya stepped forward. "This is Captain Maya Chen of the United Earth ship Defiance. We were unaware of any territorial claims in this sector. We come with peaceful intentions." The alien, Zulvax, made a gesture that might have been dismissive. "Peace is irrelevant. The Vorax Dominion has observed your species for some time. Your technological development is concerning. Your biological adaptability even more so." Maya maintained her composure, though alarm bells were ringing in her mind. "We pose no threat to your people, Commander Zulvax. We would welcome diplomatic relations." "Diplomacy is inefficient," Zulvax interrupted. "The Dominion Council has determined that humanity represents a potential future threat to Vorax expansion. Therefore, you will surrender your vessel and submit coordinates for all human settlements. Your species will be relocated to a controlled environment where your development can be properly managed. The bridge fell silent. Maya felt cold anger building in her chest. And if we refuse? The alien skin rippled with patterns that somehow conveyed amusement. Your vessel will be destroyed as a demonstration. Then, one by one, your colonies will follow. The choice is simple: controlled existence or extinction. The screen went dark. They've severed the connection, Okafor reported. Maya turned to her crew, noting the mix of fear and determination on their faces. Options. Volkov was the first to speak. The sensor readings suggest their technology is at least a century ahead of ours, Captain. In a direct confrontation, we wouldn't stand a chance. So we don't confront them directly, Maya replied. Dr. Takahashi, what did you make of their surveillance network? The science officer had been analyzing data throughout the exchange. It's impressive, but specialized. Designed to detect conventional energy signatures, fusion drives, matter/antimatter reactions, quantum communications. But there are gaps. What kind of gaps? Their sensors seem calibrated for advanced technology. They might overlook simpler systems as irrelevant. Maya nodded slowly, an idea forming. Like considering a Stone Age spear harmless against power armor. Precisely, Takahashi confirmed. They're looking for threats that match their understanding of dangerous technology. Maya turned to her communications officer. Specialist Rivera, prepare a tight beam quantum transmission to Earth Command. Full encryption. They need to know what we're facing. It won't get through, Takahashi warned. The Vorax will detect and block quantum communications. Then we use something older, Maya decided. Prepare a message drone with conventional radio transmission. Old tech, low power, something they might dismiss as background noise. As her crew hurried to comply, Maya stared at the view screen, now showing only stars again. Somewhere out there, the Vorax were preparing to make good on their threat. Chief Engineer Singh, she called over the comm. Singh here, Captain, came the quick reply. How quickly can you modify our shield emitters to create a targeted electromagnetic pulse? There was a pause. An EMP, that's ancient technology, Captain. Practically prehistoric. Exactly. And sometimes, the oldest weapons are the ones your enemy forgets to defend against. Understanding dawned in Singh's voice. I'll need at least 3 hours to reconfigure the emitters without taking our shields offline. You have too, Maya replied. The next 90 minutes passed in tense preparation. The message drone was launched on a trajectory away from the likely approach of the Vorax, broadcasting its warning on old-fashioned radio frequencies. Meanwhile, the Defiance prepared for battle against an enemy with vastly superior technology. Captain, Okafor called out, multiple vessels approaching at high speed. Configuration unknown, but their energy signatures matched the surveillance array. On screen, Maya ordered. The view screen showed 5 ships, each at least 3 times the size of the Defiance. They moved with an eerie grace, their hulls shifting and reconfiguring as they approached, like liquid metal flowing into optimal combat formations. They're scanning us, Takahashi reported. Intensive scans penetrating our outer hull. Maya nodded to Volkov. Activate Defense Protocol Theta 9. Throughout the ship, crew members initiated the unusual strategy they had prepared. Power systems cycled down to minimal levels. Weapon systems appeared to go offline. To the Vorax sensors, the Defiance would appear to be experiencing catastrophic system failures. They're slowing their approach, Okafor reported. I think they believe we're having technical difficulties. Good, Maya said. Let them think we're crippled. Singh, status on the EMP emitters. Ready on your command, Captain, the engineer's voice replied. But I should warn you, we'll only get one shot before they adapt. Then we make it count. The comm system crackled, and Zolvax's voice filled the bridge once more. Human vessel, your primitive systems appear to be failing. This is the inevitable result of inferior technology. Prepare to be boarded. Maya gave a tight smile that didn't reach her eyes. Now, Chief Singh. The Defiance shuddered slightly as the modified shield emitters fired a concentrated electromagnetic pulse at the Lid Vorax vessel. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then the alien ship's elegant movements faltered. Its shifting hull froze mid-configuration, sections of it darkening. Direct hit, Volkov reported, unable to keep the surprise from his voice. Their main systems are offline. All power to engines, Maya ordered. Bring us alongside the disabled vessel. Prepare boarding teams. The crew stared at her in shock. Captain, Volkov questioned. They expected us to surrender or die, Maya explained. They didn't expect us to fight back, and they certainly didn't expect us to board them. She stood, adjusting her uniform. I'll lead the boarding party myself. Commander Volkov, you have the bridge. As she strode toward the turbolift, Maya felt the weight of what she was about to do. Humanity's first contact with an alien species was about to become humanity's first interstellar conflict, but the Vorax had given them no choice. As the boarding team assembled in the shuttle bay, Maya addressed them briefly. Today we fight not just for ourselves, but for every human settlement, every colony, Earth itself. The Vorax believe us to be primitive, inferior. Let's show them just how dangerous primitive humans can be when backed into a corner. The team, a mix of security personnel, engineers, and scientists, nodded grimly. Remember, Maya continued, our objective is intelligence gathering. We need to understand their technology, their weaknesses. We disable. We don't kill unless absolutely necessary. As the boarding shuttles launched toward the disabled Vorax vessel, Maya couldn't help but wonder if humanity was ready for this. Ready or not, first contact had happened, and it had immediately turned hostile. The Vorax had made a critical error. They had dismissed humans as primitive, unworthy of respect or diplomacy. They had threatened extinction without considering that even the most primitive creatures will fight with unexpected ferocity when their survival is at stake. And humans were far from primitive. As the shuttles approached the alien vessel, Maya knew this was just the beginning. The Vorax thought they were dealing with an insignificant species they could bully into submission. They were about to learn otherwise. The human response. The boarding shuttle clamped onto the Vorax vessel with a metallic thunk. Maya checked her plasma pistol one final time before nodding to the security team. The airlock cycled open, revealing the alien interior, a curved corridor with walls that seemed to pulse with faint bioluminescence. Atmosphere is breathable, Dr. Takahashi confirmed, studying her handheld scanner. Gravity slightly higher than Earth standard. Maya took the first step onto the alien ship, immediately struck by the sensation of walking on something almost alive. The floor had a slight give to it, like compressed moss. Stay alert, she ordered. Singh, start analyzing their systems. I want to know how to control this vessel if possible. Chief Engineer Singh, a stocky woman with calloused hands and a perpetual frown, knelt beside what appeared to be an access panel. Fascinating, she murmured. It's not mechanical or electronic, at least not as we understand them. More like biotech integrated with quantum computing. The team moved cautiously through the corridors, encountering surprisingly little resistance. The few Vorax crew members they did find appeared disoriented, their skin patterns flickering weakly. Apparently, the EMP had affected them physically, as well as disrupting their ship's systems. Captain, Takahashi called softly, gesturing toward an open chamber. I believe this is their command center. The room was dominated by a central pillar of what looked like liquid crystal, surrounded by stations where Vorax officers lay slumped at control surfaces that seemed grown rather than built. At the center stood a larger figure, Supreme Commander Zulvax, based on the distinctive pattern of iridescence across its skin. Unlike the others, Zulvax appeared partially recovered, its multiple eyes focusing on Maya as she entered. Impossible, the alien commander said, its voice now lacking the smooth translation of before. coming out as a series of clicks and whistles partially interpreted by Maya's own translator. Primitive. Weapons should not affect Vorax technology. Maya approached confidently, keeping her weapon ready but not aimed directly at the alien. That's your fundamental error, Commander. You assumed primitive meant ineffective. A Stone Age spear can still kill if it finds a gap in the armor. Dr. Takahashi had moved to one of the control stations, interfacing her equipment with the alien technology. Captain, I'm accessing their database. The information here, it's incredible and disturbing. Explain, Maya ordered, not taking her eyes off Zulvax. The Vorax have done this before, Takahashi said, her voice tight. At least 7 other species have been relocated over the past 3 centuries. Some were at our technological level, others more advanced. All were considered potential threats to Vorax expansion. Maya felt cold anger building. And these relocations, where are these species now? Takahashi's face paled as she read the data. Controlled habitats, essentially zoos or preserves. Their development strictly limited. Their populations managed. Zulvax's skin rippled in what Maya was beginning to recognize as the alien equivalent of contemptuous amusement. All lesser species must be controlled. It is the way of the universe. The strong manage the weak. Humanity doesn't accept that philosophy, Maya replied coldly. We've learned from our own history that diversity and cooperation lead to greater strength than domination. Knave, Zulvax manage. Your resistance, temporary. Our fleet will recover. Your species will submit. Before Maya could respond, her communicator activated. Captain, Volkov's urgent voice came through. The other Vorax ships are reactivating. Their systems are adapting to our EMP. We have maybe 5 minutes before they're fully operational. Understood. Prepare for immediate extraction. Maya turned to her team. Finish gathering what intelligence you can. We leave in 3 minutes. Singh looked up from where she had been examining the ship's propulsion system. Captain, I've figured out how their drives work. It's incredible. They're using quantum entanglement to fold space, not just travel through it. With this technology, we cold. Download everything you can, Maya ordered. Earth's scientists will need all the advantage we can give them. As her team hurried to complete their mission, Maya kept her attention on Zulvax. The alien commander was gradually recovering, its movements becoming more fluid. You cannot win this conflict, Zulvax said. The Dominion spans hundreds of systems. Your single planet, your handful of colonies, cannot resist. Maya smiled grimly. You still don't understand humans, Commander. We've been fighting against overwhelming odds throughout our history. It's what we're good at. The alien skin flickered in what might have been confusion. Your species is irrational. You should calculate the probability of victory and submit when it is low. That's not how we operate, Maya replied. When humans face impossible odds, we don't surrender. We innovate. We adapt. We find another way. Dr. Takahashi approached, her devices loaded with alien data. Captain, we need to go. Now. Maya nodded, backing toward the exit with her team, while keeping her weapon trained on Zulvax. This isn't over, Commander. Not by a long shot. The return to the Defiance was tense but uneventful. As soon as the boarding party was safely aboard, Maya ordered immediate withdrawal. Maximum speed, Lieutenant Okafor, she commanded, returning to her captain's chair. Get us clear of their sensor range. The Vorax vessels are powering up weapons, Volkov reported. They'll be in firing range in 30 seconds. Maya leaned forward. Dr. Takahashi, did you get anything from their systems that could help us right now? The science officer was already at her station, downloading the stolen data. Yes, Captain. I identified the frequency their shields operate on. If we modulate our phasers to match that exact frequency, we might penetrate their defenses, Maya finished. Do it. The Defiance shuddered as the first Vorax energy beam grazed their shields. Shields down to 72%, Volkov reported. One more direct hit, and we'll lose them completely. Weapons modulation complete, Takahashi announced. Maya didn't hesitate. Target their lead vessel's propulsion system and fire. The Defiance's phasers lanced out, a brilliant blue-white beam that struck the pursuing Vorax ship. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, the alien vessel shuddered violently, sections of its hull going dark. Direct hit, Volkov exclaimed. Their drive system is offline. The other ships are slowing, Okafor reported. They appear confused by our ability to penetrate their shields. Maya allowed herself a small, satisfied smile. They're not used to being vulnerable, especially not to what they consider an inferior species. She turned to Takahashi. What else did you learn about their technology that we can use? Their entire approach to technology is different from ours, Takahashi explained, excitement clear in her voice despite the danger. They've integrated biological components with quantum technology to create systems that can adapt and evolve. But that integration is also a weakness. Disrupt one aspect, and the whole system becomes unstable. Maya considered this information, like how our EMP affected not just their ships but the Vorax themselves. Exactly, Takahashi confirmed. Their biology is linked to their technology in ways we don't fully understand yet, but it means conventional attacks might affect them in unexpected ways. The tactical console beeped urgently. Captain, Volkov called out. The remaining Vorax vessels are forming a new attack pattern. They're coordinating, adapting to our defenses. Maya nodded grimly. They learn quickly. So must we. She turned to Singh, who had returned to engineering via internal transport. Chief, the quantum entanglement drive you mentioned. Any insights on how to disrupt it? Singh's voice came through slightly distorted by engine noise. If their drives work on the principle I think they do, they require perfect quantum coherence. Any significant interference in the entanglement pattern would destabilize the entire system. And how do we create that interference? There was a pause before Singh replied. Our deflector dish could be modified to emit a scrambling field, but we'd need to be within 100 kilometers of their vessels. Too close, Volkov objected. They'd cut us to pieces before we got within range. Maya stared at the tactical display, watching the Vorax ships approach in their new formation. Then she smiled, a predator's smile. Not if they think we're already defeated. She looked up at her bridge crew. They expect us to run, to try to escape. They don't expect us to attack. So that's exactly what we'll do. The plan was audacious, perhaps suicidal. The Defiance would fake critical system damage, appearing to drift helplessly. When the Vorax approached to capture the vessel, as their previous behavior suggested they would, the ship would unleash Singh's quantum scrambling field at point-blank range. All hands, battle stations, Maya ordered. This is going to get rough. The next 20 minutes were among the most tense Maya had ever experienced. The Defiance drifted, emergency power flickering, life support apparently failing. The ruse was made more convincing by the actual damage they had sustained. They're approaching, Okafor reported quietly. The 3 remaining vessels are moving into capture position. Stand by, Maya said, her voice calm despite the hammering of her heart. Wait until they're within optimal range. The bridge crew watched in tense silence as the Vorax ships grew larger on the view screen, their liquid metal hulls shifting into docking configurations. They were clearly preparing to board the seemingly crippled human vessel. Now, Chief Singh, Maya ordered. The Defiance came alive, all systems powering up simultaneously. The deflector dish glowed brilliant blue before emitting a wave of energy unlike anything the ship had generated before. The wave washed over the Vorax vessels, which immediately began to convulse, their elegant forms becoming chaotic and distorted. It's working, Takahashi exclaimed. The quantum field is disrupting their entire integrated system. On the view screen, The nearest Vorax ship seemed to fold in on itself, sections phasing in and out of normal space before stabilizing in a malformed configuration. The other two vessels drifted erratically, their systems clearly in chaos. "Get us out of here. Maximum warp," Maya ordered, "before they can recover." The Defiant streaked away, leaving the disabled Vorax fleet behind. But Maya took no satisfaction in the victory. This had been merely the opening skirmish in what promised to be a much larger conflict. "Set course for Earth," she instructed. "We need to deliver this intelligence directly to command." As the stars streaked by on the view screen, Maya reflected on the encounter. The Vorax had made a critical miscalculation. They had dismissed humanity as primitive, unworthy of respect or consideration. They had expected submission or futile resistance. Instead, they had awakened something they clearly didn't understand: human defiance in the face of extinction. The very quality they had sought to eradicate was what had defeated them in this first encounter. Dr. Takahashi approached her captain. "The data we retrieved suggests the Vorax dominion is vast, but not without its own problems. There are signs of internal conflicts, resistance from other species. We might not be alone in opposing them." Maya nodded. "Then we find these other species. We form alliances. We show the galaxy that cooperation between diverse civilizations creates strength that domination never could." "And if the Vorax don't accept that vision?" Takahashi asked quietly. Maya's expression hardened as she looked toward the stars that now carried them home. Home to warn their people, to prepare for the war that was coming. "Then we teach them the most important lesson about humanity," she said. "We don't submit to bullies, no matter how technologically advanced they might be. And we never, ever give up." As the Defiance raced toward Earth, carrying the warning of the Vorax threat and the technology that might help defend against it, Maya knew that the coming conflict would test humanity like nothing in their history.